Gets kind of like a minor acceleration here. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 Hyundai Sonata SEL. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Hyundai of Southtown, Utah for giving me some time with this Sonata. Check out their inventory in the description down below. Let's get right into the review. So under the hood, we have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 27 around town and then 37 on the highway, with power outputs being 191 horsepower and then 181 pound-feet of torque. And something that I love that Hyundai does on all of their engine covers is a little bit of carbon fiber accenting. Now let's go over the front end of the SEL. So first off, notice how the portion here in the center of the hood is raised just slightly. Looks really good, and the black paint really shows it well. And then notice how we have the LED accent light here that goes around the light. We do have the reflector lights for the rest of the headlight cluster, but how that continues into the chrome trim. And then you can see the whole front grille is all blacked out. We do have the Hyundai logo, which is finished in some chrome trim, so it really stands out against the rest of the car. But yeah, other than that, the Sonata still to this day is a really good looking car from a front end perspective. Now coming around the side here, we've got two 15mm tires wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you can see the design on the wheel itself looks really good. It's just super jagged, and you guys can see it almost looks like it's just a bunch of random pieces all thrown together. But there is some method to the madness, and overall I think it looks great. I like this accent piece here off to the front. And then notice how the trim around all the windows is actually blacked out on this package. It looks kind of interesting because you have the chrome trim from the hood and then it just ends. And then you have the chrome trim around the back and then it also just ends. So that's definitely interesting. And then other than that, there is your full side view. So here is our key fob. Notice how you have the Hyundai logo on the back. We have the lock, the unlock, the opening for the trunk, and then that is for the remote start. We will hold that down, and then that'll actually pop it all the way open, which is definitely nice. And then you can see we have the netting here in the back. Got the Sonata logo right there on the floor mats. You can see storage space back here is really good. And other than that, that's everything for the cargo area, so see ya. Finishing things here in the rear of the Sonata. Notice how we have this like kind of textured stuff here at the top of the light. I think it looks great. And then you have the taillights which connect all the way together in a light bar. It looks really good at night. Got the Sonata logo right there, and then the diffuser down below is all blacked out. And other than that, that's everything for the rear. Now here's the door panel in the rear. I like how this trim connects all the way to the door handle itself. I think that looks great. And then we've got the padding just down below. And then you can see here with the seats, you got all the cloth trim and then the piping there in the center, and then all the cloth on either side. And then we have all the stitching right here. And let's actually pop in so you can see, legroom and headroom as well. Nothing happened here. We don't have seat storage on that side, but we do have on the passenger side. And then this pulls down to be some cup holders. Also, this cloth has nice texture to it. Let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel at the front. So again, you can see that metallic trim that is covered by this little piece of paper. Continues all the way to the door handle. We've got the padding below where you're going to rest your arm. All of the window controls. We've got all of the mirror adjustments. We do have blind spot monitoring for the mirror. And then here's the seat at the front. So full cloth trim here. And then you can see the design there on the center portion. Got your power adjustments on the side of the seat. Pedals just down below. We've got the hood latch release. We have our stability control here. That's for the trunk opening, parking brake, lane departure assistance. That is the adjustment for the steering wheel. And there is one more look before we pop in. So here is our steering wheel with the Sonata. You can see it's pretty basic from a trim piece perspective. And then you guys can see that you've got the metallic trim here on the center portion. We have our cruise control with the steering assistance. We've got our voice command, phone controls, volume controls there on the other side. Turn signal light stock. We've got the windshield wiper stock there on the other side. And that's all for the steering wheel. Now here is the center gauge cluster on the Sonata. You guys can see analog gauges on either side. I know I'll get comments about the little check engine light there. This car just hasn't been through the full pre-delivery inspection. So once it goes through that, that'll get immediately taken care of. So I worked at a car dealership for a long time. It's nothing to worry about. It happens all the time with cars that get delivered from the manufacturer. It usually just needs a code reset. But anyways, you guys can see here with the center menus, all that stuff that you can go through. We do have some different drive modes. We got our custom, sport, normal, and then smart that you can go into from a drive mode perspective. And if you guys are wondering, when you go into the drive mode itself, it doesn't really change anything. Just lets you know that you're in the drive mode. So here's the center infotainment system. First off, we're going to pop it into reverse. So we've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. Resolution on the camera is really solid, so that's definitely a positive. Moving on from that to the rest of the infotainment system. First off, response time with the screen's great. So like if I press the climate tab, you guys can see it takes a second to load up, but like the actual button response is a lot better. It just depends on the function that you're pressing, I suppose. Does come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as well. And I like how you can like kind of grab onto the screen almost because of how it is with the dash. It's kind of interesting. So down below we have our controls for the climate controls. So we have dual zone climate here at the front. We've got heated seats that you just press these buttons here to turn that on or off. Pretty easy to use. And then notice how we have the USBs. We got the 12 volt down here, some extra storage space. We have this for the transmission selector. In this area we got the park, reverse, neutral, drive. And then we have the cup holders right here with the little phone holder. Drive mode select with the auto hold. And then you guys can see here with the center console area, the storage space of that, and then the nice padding on the top of it. And then you guys can see here on the dash as well. And then you got that with the glove box. And then finishing things up here, we have the light controls for the lights, pretty self-explanatory. And then we do have a manual mirror dimmer. So here's our window sticker on this 2022 Sonata SEL. Feel free to freeze a frame if you want to read all of the standard equipment. And you guys can see not much is added to this particular one. So you can see the total MSRP, $27,229. And let's take it out for a little test drive. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. There's your visibility of the hood. Both the mirrors, again, they've got blind spot. And then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. We are setting off here in this Sonata SEL. And this review is mostly going to be about like kind of like the steering and suspension and all that fun stuff. You guys remember I had that Sonata Limited for about a week roughly. And that's where I did a bunch of like fun driving and everything like that. And so this will kind of, again, just kind of replicate like a little bit of a test drive with the car basically. So first off, ride quality is really good. It's very smooth. It's quiet, it's comfortable. And this doesn't have quite as much tech. Obviously with having driven the Limited, that had a ton of tech. This on the other hand, a little bit less on the tech side. So if you just want like the Sonata experience, but you don't want necessarily all the gadgets and everything that comes with a fully loaded model, this is definitely a great one to go for. Seat comfort with the car is really good actually. The bolsters are pretty wide, and so they definitely could fit bigger people. But yeah, I think that they have the right amount of padding so where they're comfortable, but they're not like so padded to where you're just gonna like sink into the seat or anything like that. So I think they did a good job overall with the seat comfort and everything. And I know you probably have never watched this video, but that dude's got a cool beard. Anyways, continuing along, we're gonna get kind of like a minor acceleration here. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the acceleration you do around town, right? You're not going to just go full throttle all the time. And it gets up and moves very decently, and the transmission's really smooth, and it just does a good job from an acceleration perspective. It's more than enough power. So yeah, it's pretty good. And you guys can see, like, it's super windy today. I can't hear the wind, but I mean, this is like, it's like a crazy amount of wind. So the fact that it's still pretty quiet here in the cabin, I think is very impressive. And so yeah, that'll get me into summing things up here and giving this a score. So first off, exterior wise, I think the Sonata looks great. Interior wise, it's got all the stuff you need, none of the stuff you don't need. It's got heated seats, which is great for the winter here in Utah. So yeah, I think it's really good overall with the interior. And then in terms of the driving, it's smooth, it's comfortable, it's quiet. It's just a really good all-around daily driver. And so yeah, if you're kind of looking for a great daily driver car, and if you like the Sonata, like, you know, the new Sonata with the styling, but you don't care about all the gadgets and gizmos that come with the, you know, loaded up limited or like an N-Line, for example. Obviously the N-Line has a lot more power, but if you don't care about all that, then the SEL is great to go for, to give you all of that stuff. And so yeah, as an overall score, front wheel drive under $30,000 car, I'm gonna say that this one, I would rate it at about a 7.5 out of 10. It's right where it needs to be. I do prefer the SEL Plus over this, but I can understand why some people might be drawn to the SEL. That's going to sum things up for a video on this 2022 Hyundai Sonata SEL. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Hyundai of Southtown for giving me some time with this Sonata SEL. Check out the inventory link below. I will see all of you in the next video.